Hey, what's going on, guys? So, a lot of us are discouraged, and you might be in a season of life where you are hopeless, you're disheartened, and you feel like God is not with you. You feel like what He's given you, what He's promised you, some of the things that you're going through, you feel like you can't get through it. You feel like God isn't there, He's not answering you. And I just wanted to encourage a lot of you guys because many people are going through that and they feel like they're emotional, they feel like it's hopeless. And there's a lot riding on your shoulders. And I just wanted to tell you guys that God is there. And as Psalm 55:22 says, that if you cast your burdens on Him, He will sustain you. And a lot of us don't realize that because we get into a state of mind where we have a pity party. We get into a state of mind where we think it's impossible that whatever you're doing and whatever is supposed to happen, it's not happening. And a lot of us don't see it from God's perspective because what He's trying to do, He's trying to get you to focus on Him instead of your problems and your baggage and your worries and all the things that are around you, because He might be allowing you to go through a temporary state of suffering, of trial, so that He can get you to depend on Him, to wake up, to shake you, so that you can see who He is through the stuff that you're going through. Because a lot of us, we're so caught up in the moment. We're so caught up in this person and that person. We're so caught up in an unanswered or supposed unanswered prayer. We're caught up in all these things distracting us and dividing us, when really God is wanting us to depend on Him, to cast our burdens on Him, to not be anxious and worrisome, but instead for us to practice and to really assimilate this desire and fixation on Christ, so that we don't have to depend on anybody else but the Lord for strength, for wisdom, for courage, for everything. And He will sustain you. And the Bible doesn't say that, sometimes He will sustain you if you do this. Here are the conditions if you don't do this, for which you won't be given sustenance. You won't be given the tools and the perseverance necessary to get you through something. But really, He's saying that you have to cast your burdens. You have to fixate and to depend on Him, and He will sustain you through this. And again, He never promises that you won't go through suffering. You will go through that, but He promises that He will take you through it, that He will be with you. He will never forsake you through that. And because we're in such a me mode, such a pity party, an inward focused mode, we lose sight of who He is. We lose sight of looking up and looking at Him. And so if you ever are sad, if you're ever angry, if you're ever in this state of just of being low, God doesn't want that. He wants and desires for you to be joyful and happy. And you can be that way despite what you're going through. And even if something that He promised you, a blessing, an opportunity, an assignment, a ministry, people, and all these things, a spouse or a job or whatever material blessing that He's called you and allocated for you, those things may not come quickly. It may not come at the desired time that you want it, because it wasn't for you at that time, but really He was giving you this season. He was giving you a time for you to depend on Him. And so if you are going through a momentary state of mind, a momentary time of emotional, downcastness, then I wanted to encourage you. I want to encourage you because God is saying He's there, and He's always and has seen you from the beginning of time, from when you were born, and even in this little circumstance, even this little thing. And it may seem big to you, and it may be, but to the Lord, it's nothing. It's a small thing because He can handle it. He can allow you to take care of it as long as you cast it onto Him, as long as you depend on Him. And a lot of us, we're losing sight of that. And whatever it is that God is allowing you to go through in this temporary moment, He wants me to remind you and to encourage you that it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean much in the bigger scheme of things. But really, if you practice, if you wake up to the fact that you have to depend and fixate and to gaze upon Him, to cast it on him, then he will take you through it. And so be encouraged by this. Be encouraged by the word of God that never fails. And though you may not see it right now in this moment, you will ultimately, looking back later. But right now, you got to trust the Lord. You got to trust him wholeheartedly and have faith that he will deliver on your prayer, on your issue, whatever it is that you're going through, because God is always there. And never lose heart, whatever pain, whatever moment it is, because he will ultimately be victorious. He will ultimately deliver you from all of this, whether it's in the short time or ultimately when we meet him in heaven. But don't be discouraged. Don't be downcast. Don't be disheartened, because he's there and he promises for things that will come through, because if you abide in him, if you lean into him, you will have no problem. You have no issue, because Christ is for us and he's with you. And so just be encouraged, guys. Whatever it is, may this be an answer to your prayer. May this exhort you and encourage you. So God bless you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.